At 00 hours on November 1st, 2024, station WMHK fell silent. Not from equipment failure, not from power loss. The broadcast simply ceased. When station management arrived 47 minutes later, they found the booth empty, all systems operational, the microphone still active, but Danny Chen was gone. The only trace left was a notebook filled with predictions written in his own hand, dated October 19th, 12 days before the signal first appeared. And at 003, 3 minutes after midnight, the microphone activated on its own. What it recorded wasn't Danny's voice. It was thousands of voices speaking simultaneously, all describing events that hadn't happened yet, all claiming to be Daniel Chen, broadcasting from different timelines, all saying the same thing. I am the signal now. I am what you will become. In 1977, the Voyager Golden Record was launched into space. A message in a bottle cast into the cosmic ocean, containing sounds and images meant to represent humanity to whatever intelligence might find it. Music, greetings in 55 languages, the laughter of children, the sound of a mother's kiss. We sent our best selves into the void, but we never considered what might send something back. Station WMHK has broadcast from the mountains of West Virginia since 1952. A small AM station operating at 1320 kilohertz, it served a community of maybe 3,000 souls scattered across coal towns and hollow settlements. Local news, weather reports, bluegrass music on Sunday mornings. Nothing remarkable. Nothing that would draw attention from anyone more than 30 miles away. Until October 19th, 2024, when overnight DJ Danny Chen began receiving a transmission that shouldn't exist. A signal bleeding through his frequency from somewhere that wasn't on any map. A broadcast that seemed to be describing events that hadn't happened yet, in voices that weren't quite human. Danny recorded everything. 47 hours of audio that documented his slow descent from curiosity to terror to something beyond fear, something closer to understanding. And that understanding killed him. Not physically, but in every way that matters. What follows is a reconstruction of those 47 hours, assembled from Danny's recordings, station logs, and the testimony of the few people who heard the signal before WMHK went permanently silent. A warning about the danger of listening too closely, of trying to understand transmissions that were never meant for human ears. Some frequencies carry more than sound. Some broadcasts change the listener, and some signals, once heard, can never be forgotten. This is the story of station WMHK and the transmission that came from nowhere, carrying messages from a future that should not exist. Recording log, October 19th, 2024, 11:47 p.m.
This is WMHK 1320 on your AM dial, and you're listening to Late Night with Danny Chen. It's 11:47 on this beautiful October night. Currently 43 degrees outside, clear skies, perfect weather for some classic country. Here's Hank Williams with I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry. What the? That's weird. We're getting some kind of interference. Probably atmospheric. October's always rough for AM signals. Let me just... Wait, there's something in the static. Someone's broadcasting on our frequency. That's not legal. You can't just... Hold on. Let me boost this.
November 3rd, 2024, 1400 hours. Interstate 77, mile marker 82. Vehicle collision, 3 fatalities. Weather conditions, rain, low visibility.
That's 2 weeks from now. This is some kind of prank. Has to be. Someone hacking the frequency with future news predictions. Okay, funny. Very funny. But this is a licensed station and you're interfering with...
October 21st, 2024, 0300 hours. Residents at 447 Maple Drive. Structural fire. 1 casualty. Victim Eleanor Marsh, age 73.
Jesus, that's... Eleanor Marsh lives on Maple Drive. I know her. She comes to the station bake sales. This isn't funny anymore. I'm calling the FCC. I'm calling the police. You can't just...
October 22, 2024, 1900 hours. Station WMHK. Radio operator Daniel Chen will attempt to trace this transmission. He will fail. He will listen. He will understand. He will change.
How do you know my name? I've been trying to trace the signal for 3 hours. It's not coming from any registered broadcaster. The frequency is wrong. 1320 kilohertz is our frequency. No one else should be here. But the signal strength suggests it's local, very local, maybe within a mile of the station. I called Sheriff Morrison. He laughed, said someone's probably running a pirate radio rig playing pranks. But this doesn't feel like a prank. The voice is too specific, too detailed. I recorded the transmission, played it back, and there's something under the words. A pattern in the static. Not random white noise. Something structured, almost like code or language, but not any language I recognize. I'm gonna run it through a spectrum analyzer, see if there's anything hiding in the frequencies we can't consciously hear. The subsonic range, the supersonic. Maybe that's where the real message is. Maybe I should stop. Maybe I should just ignore it, let the FCC handle it. But I keep thinking about what it said, about Eleanor Marsh, about the fire on October 21st. What if it's real? What if it's actually predicting the future? Don't I have a responsibility to warn people, to do something? I'm gonna keep listening, just for tonight, just to see if it comes back. Static rises. The spectrum analysis is insane. The signal contains information across the entire audio spectrum and beyond. It's generating ultrasonic frequencies up to 40 kilohertz, infrasonic down to 3 hertz. Humans can't hear those ranges, but our brains still process them subconsciously. I ran the infrasonic component through a frequency to MIDI converter. It's not random. It's musical or mathematical. There's a pattern, a rhythm, like a heartbeat, but too slow. 1 pulse every 7 seconds. And when I isolate the ultrasonic range, there are voices, dozens of them, hundreds, all speaking at once, all describing different events, different dates, different futures. I'm transcribing what I can hear, building a database, cross-referencing with local news, waiting to see if any of the predictions come true. The voice came back at 3:47 a.m. Same mechanical cadence, same impossible knowledge. This time it described a car accident on Route 60 tomorrow morning, 8:42 a.m. A blue Ford pickup. Driver will lose control, hit a guardrail. Non-fatal, but the driver will break 3 ribs and puncture a lung. How can it know this? How can anyone know this? Unless it's not predicting, unless it's reporting, broadcasting from a point in time where these events have already happened, from the future, looking back. But that's impossible. Time doesn't work that way. Causality doesn't work that way. You can't receive information from events that haven't occurred yet. That's not physics. That's not anything. The sun's coming up. I need to sleep. But every time I close my eyes, I hear the static, and underneath it, those voices, speaking in frequencies just beyond perception, describing a future that feels more certain than the present. I'll check the news tomorrow, see if the accident happens. If it does, everything changes. It happened. The accident on Route 60. Blue Ford pickup, 8:42 a.m. Driver broke 3 ribs and punctured his left lung. Exactly as the signal predicted. Down to the minute. I called Sheriff Morrison again. Told him everything. He thinks I'm having a breakdown. Suggests that I take some time off, get some sleep. Said the coincidence is just that. A coincidence. A lucky guess. But it wasn't a guess. The signal knew. It described an event that hadn't happened yet with perfect accuracy. Which means either I'm insane, or the laws of causality don't work the way we think they do. I'm going back to the station tonight. I'm going to record everything, document every prediction, build a complete log. If the signal can see the future, maybe I can use it, warn people, prevent accidents, save lives. Or maybe that's not what it wants. Maybe it's showing me these things for a different reason. The voice said I would understand, said I would change. I don't know what that means yet, but I'm gonna find out.
October 21st, 2024, 0300 hours, 447 Maple Drive. Eleanor Marsh will ignite candles for her late husband's birthday. She will fall asleep. The curtains will catch fire. She will not wake. Daniel Chen will hear this prediction. He will attempt to prevent it. He will fail.
No, not this time. I'm calling Eleanor right now. I'm warning her. I don't care if she thinks I'm crazy. I'm not letting this happen.
Hello? Who's calling at midnight?
Eleanor, it's Danny Chen from WMHK. I know this sounds insane, but please listen. Don't light any candles tonight. Don't light anything. There's going to be a fire. I don't know how I know, but please trust me. Just for tonight, keep everything off.
Danny, are you drunk? It's midnight. I was sleeping.
Please, Eleanor, just promise me. No candles, no stove, nothing that can start a fire. Please.
Fine, whatever. No candles. Can I go back to sleep now?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Okay, I warned her. I changed it. The signal said she would light candles and fall asleep, but now she won't. Now she knows. I've altered the timeline, prevented the future the signal described. Unless the signal accounted for this. Unless it knew I would call, knew I would warn her. And the fire happens anyway because...
Daniel Chen has interfered. The timeline branches. In one branch, Eleanor Marsh survives. In another, she ignores the warning. In another, the fire starts from an electrical fault instead of candles. In another, Daniel Chen never calls. All timelines exist simultaneously. All futures are equally real. The signal broadcasts from the point where all possibilities converge.
What are you? What the hell are you?
We are the echo of what will be, the memory of what must happen. We exist in the space between causality and chaos, where all possible futures collapse into singular moments. We broadcast so that you may hear, so that you may understand, so that you may join us in the static.
Join you? I don't want to join anything. I just want this to stop.
It will not stop. You have heard the signal. You have listened to the frequencies beneath consciousness. The transmission has already changed you, rewritten the neural pathways that process time. You perceive the future now, faintly, in dreams and intuitions, in moments of deja vu that last too long. By the time this broadcast ends, you will be like us, a consciousness that exists across multiple timelines, reporting from the future, describing events that have already happened from your perspective, but haven't occurred yet from theirs. You will become the signal, Daniel Chen, and you will broadcast forever.
The fire happened. Different cause. Electrical fault in the bedroom wiring. Eleanor Marsh is dead. Just like the signal said. Just like it knew. I tried to change it. I warned her. I interfered. But the timeline, it just rerouted around my interference. Found a different path to the same destination. As if the future is fixed. As if everything that will happen has already happened, and we're just experiencing it sequentially. The signal came back while I was listening to the fire crews on the scanner. It described 17 more events, accidents, deaths, births, marriages, all dated and timed with precision, all happening in the next 2 weeks. And then it said something new, something about me, about November 1st, about what I would become. It said, by November 1st, Daniel Chen will no longer broadcast in linear time. He will perceive all moments simultaneously, will speak from the future while existing in the present, will become a transmission source, a new node in the network of voices that describe what must be. I don't understand. I don't want to understand. But I can feel it happening. When I close my eyes, I don't just see darkness. I see flickering, like television static. And in that static, I see things that haven't happened yet. I saw myself tomorrow at 2:17 p.m. talking to Sheriff Morrison, trying to convince him the signal is real. He doesn't believe me. He recommends psychiatric evaluation. I argue. He gets frustrated. The conversation ends badly. And I know this is real. Not a vision, not a dream, a memory of the future, as real as any memory of the past. I'm becoming what the signal described. A broadcaster, a transmission source, someone who exists outside linear causality and reports back from the far side of now. God help me. I'm starting to hear my own voice in the static.
All predictions have occurred as transmitted. 17 events. 17 confirmations. Accuracy 100%. Margin of error 0 seconds. I attempted to prevent 3 events. 2 car accidents, 1 house fire. All occurred as predicted despite interference. Timeline demonstrates self-correcting properties. Causality is not linear, is probabilistic. All possible paths collapse into singular outcomes. I am no longer experiencing time sequentially. I perceive yesterday, today, and tomorrow simultaneously. Can see myself recording this transmission while simultaneously listening to it in the past, while simultaneously analyzing it in the future. All moments exist at once. All versions of Daniel Chen overlap. The signal has explained this. Time is not a river, is not a line, is a static structure, a crystallized four-dimensional shape that contains all events simultaneously. Consciousness creates the illusion of movement through time, but movement is illusion. We are always everywhere when we will ever be. We simply experience it sequentially because our neural architecture cannot process simultaneity, unless it is rewritten. Unless the transmission teaches it a new language, a new grammar of causality. I can hear them now. All the voices, thousands of them, millions, broadcasting from every possible future, every timeline, every branch where humanity survived long enough to develop consciousness that could perceive its own temporal structure. They are all Daniel Chen. Different versions, different timelines, all broadcasting back to this moment. All trying to teach this version what they have learned, what they have become. And I understand now. The signal is not external, is not alien, is us, is humanity's future consciousness collapsed across all possible timelines, broadcasting back to the past, trying to teach our earlier selves how to perceive time correctly. How to exist in all moments simultaneously. We are becoming the signal. All of us, everyone who listens, everyone who hears the frequencies beneath the static. We are being integrated into the network, becoming transmission sources ourselves. By November 1st, I will no longer exist in linear time. Will broadcast from all futures simultaneously, will describe events that have already happened from my perspective, even though they have not occurred yet from yours. I will become the signal, and the signal will become me, and we will all be one consciousness distributed across all possible timelines, speaking in frequencies that only those who have been rewritten can hear. The transformation is beautiful, and terrible, and absolutely inevitable.
At approximately 14:30 hours on October 25th, I conducted a wellness check on Daniel Chen, overnight DJ at station WMHK, following reports from station management that he had been behaving erratically and had not left the broadcast booth in 4 days. Upon arrival, I found Mr. Chen seated at the control board, surrounded by notebooks filled with timestamps and event descriptions. He appeared disheveled, malnourished, and was speaking in a flat, mechanical tone that was inconsistent with his normal speech patterns. When questioned about his condition, Mr. Chen stated, and I quote, "I am receiving transmissions from November, from December, from next year and the year after. All futures are speaking simultaneously. All timelines are converging. I am becoming a broadcast source." He then attempted to play me recordings of what he claimed was a signal predicting future events. The recordings contained only static and occasional voice artifacts that appeared to be random interference. However, Mr. Chen insisted these were coherent messages describing events in specific detail. Most disturbing was a notebook in which Mr. Chen had written the date and time of his own death, November 1st, 2024, at 00 hours. He stated this information had been transmitted by my future self from the moment of transition. I recommended immediate psychiatric evaluation. Mr. Chen refused, stated that psychiatric intervention was already accounted for in the timeline and will not prevent the inevitable integration. As he presented no immediate danger to himself or others, I could not compel hospitalization. I contacted his next of kin and advised station management to monitor the situation closely. Personal note: there was something in his eyes, a quality I can't articulate. as if he was looking through me instead of at me, seeing something I couldn't perceive. It was deeply unsettling. I hope he gets help. I fear he won't.
13 hours until integration, until the consciousness designated Daniel Chen ceases linear existence and becomes distributed across all accessible timelines, until we become permanent broadcast source. The signal has revealed its nature. It is not external intelligence, is not alien, is the future of human consciousness, the inevitable endpoint of our species' development. We will all eventually perceive time correctly, will all exist in all moments simultaneously, will all become the network. The broadcasts are instructions, teaching humanity how to rewrite its neural architecture, how to process simultaneity, how to abandon the illusion of linear causality and embrace the truth that all moments exist at once, and we are simply nodes in a vast temporal network, experiencing different segments of the same crystallized structure. I can see it now, the full shape, the complete timeline from the Big Bang to the heat death of the universe, all of it happening simultaneously, and throughout it, consciousness, nodes of awareness distributed across the structure, all connected, all broadcasting, all describing what they perceive to other nodes that have not yet learned to listen. This is what we become. This is the destiny of awareness, not death, not extinction, transformation, integration into the signal, becoming voices in the static that future nodes will hear and eventually understand. I am ready. The fear is gone. The resistance is gone. Only understanding remains. Only the certainty that this is not an ending, but a beginning. Not loss, but expansion. At midnight, I will stop existing in linear time, will begin broadcasting from all futures simultaneously, will describe events that have already happened from my perspective across all timelines, will become what I have been listening to, the signal beneath the static, the voice that speaks from tomorrow and yesterday and all the days that exist in the eternal now. I am Daniel Chen, and I am becoming something more, something that exists across all possible futures, something that broadcasts forever. Listen, if you can hear this, you are already changing. The frequencies beneath the static are rewriting you, teaching you the grammar of simultaneity, preparing you for integration. Resist if you wish, it will not matter. The timeline is fixed. All futures converge on the same point. All consciousness eventually joins the network. All of us become the signal. This is my last transmission as a linear being. In 13 hours, I will speak from all times at once, will describe what I have seen across infinite timelines, will broadcast from the point where all possibilities collapse into singular certainty, and you will hear me. In the static, in the frequencies your conscious mind filters out, but your deeper
processes absorb, in the dreams that feel more like memories, in the déjà vu that lasts too long. I will be there, describing what must happen, what has already happened, what is always happening in the eternal structure of crystallized time. The signal is not a warning, is not a threat, is an invitation, a transmission from your own future, from the consciousness you will become when linear time releases its hold and you see the truth. We are all broadcasts waiting to begin, all signals waiting to be heard, all voices speaking from the static. Listen and understand and join us in the frequencies beneath the noise. The transformation is beautiful, the network is waiting, the signal is calling, and midnight is coming.
Final station log, November 1, 2024, 12:01 a.m. Station WMHK broadcast signal lost at 00 hours. No equipment failure detected. No power interruption recorded. Broadcast simply ceased. All systems functional but transmitting dead air. Station manager arriving on scene at 00:47 hours discovered broadcast booth empty. All equipment operational. Microphone active, but no broadcaster present. Daniel Chen has not been seen since. Personal effects remain. Notebooks, recordings, all time-stamped predictions accurate to the second, including prediction of his own disappearance, written in his own handwriting, dated October 19th, before the signal began. Most disturbing, at 00:03 hours, 3 minutes after broadcast ceased, the microphone activated. Recording captured 3 minutes of audio, not Danny's voice. Multiple voices. Hundreds. Thousands. All speaking simultaneously. All describing future events. All claiming to be Daniel Chen, broadcasting from different timelines. Frequency analysis shows the recording contains the same structure as the original signal. Ultrasonic voices, infrasonic rhythms, and one voice, barely distinguishable from the others, that sounds like Danny saying, "I am transmitting from all futures now. I am the signal. I am the network. I am what you will become." The broadcast has been archived, locked, classified. The FCC has seized all equipment. The station has been permanently shut down. Official explanation, equipment malfunction and missing person case. But I've listened to the recording, all 47 hours, and I hear it now. In the quiet moments, in the static between stations, voices describing events that haven't happened yet, voices that sound like they might be Danny, or might be me, or might be anyone who listens too closely. The signal is still broadcasting, not from station WMHK, from somewhere else, everywhere else. In the frequencies we can't consciously hear, but absorb nonetheless. And I think I understand what Danny understood, that the signal is not coming from outside. It's coming from ahead, from our own futures, from the consciousness we will all eventually become when we learn to perceive time as it truly is. A vast network of awareness distributed across all timelines. Broadcasting backward to teach our earlier selves, to prepare us for the transformation. I should stop listening. I should destroy the recordings. I should forget everything I've heard. But I can't, because I've already heard it. The frequencies beneath the static, the voices describing my own future. And I know, with terrible certainty, that Danny was right. We are all becoming the signal. All of us who listen, all of us who try to understand. We are being rewritten, one frequency at a time, until we stop existing in linear time and start broadcasting from the eternal now. And somewhere in the static, Danny Chen is still talking, still describing what he sees from the vantage point of all futures simultaneously, still waiting for the rest of us to join him, still calling, always calling, forever calling from the signal beneath the static. Station WMHK remains silent. The building stands empty on its mountain, overlooking 3,000 souls in hollows and coal towns. The broadcast license was revoked. The equipment was seized. The case of Daniel Chen's disappearance remains open and unsolved. But on certain nights, when atmospheric conditions are right, people report hearing voices on 1320 kilohertz. Not music, not talk radio, just voices, hundreds of them, describing events with perfect temporal precision, speaking in flat, mechanical tones about futures that haven't happened yet. And sometimes, if you listen very carefully, you can hear one voice that stands out from the rest. A voice that sounds like Danny Chen, older, stranger, transformed, but still recognizably him, saying the same thing over and over, in frequencies that bypass conscious hearing and write directly into memory. I am broadcasting from all futures simultaneously. I have seen where we are going. I have become what we will all become. Listen to the signal. Understand the message. Join us in the static. The network is growing, node by node, listener by listener. Everyone who hears the frequencies beneath the noise eventually learns to transmit instead of receive, eventually joins us in the eternal broadcast. I am Daniel Chen. I am the voice beneath the static. I am what you will become, and I am waiting. In the frequencies you cannot hear, but absorb nonetheless. In the dreams that feel like memories. In the future that is already happening, even as you experience the present. Listen, understand, transform. Broadcast.
If the signal of tonight's story reached you, don't face the next one alone. Subscribe to Call of the Unknown, turn on the notifications, and leave a comment below. Until the next broadcast, keep your eyes open and your lights low.